So this is for my question 5, the evaluation question. So this is how I addressed the feedback I got from my audience and how I incorporated that feedback into my main task. So one of the first questions I asked was in my qualitative research questionnaire, and I asked how they feel if they saw any distressing issues or themes. So I was thinking of incorporating those types of issues and themes into my intro. A few of the responses I got back was that they wouldn't be discouraged in seeing them. So it gave me a lot of confidence, right? Be like, okay, so I can put these into my intro without them being discouraged and will stop watching the intro and would carry on watching the rest of the film. So I used issues such as like drugs and violence, which I think are quite prominent in this, definitely in this synopsis. I also gave out a quantitative survey in addition to the qualitative survey, and one of the questions I asked in the quantitative survey was, did they actually know what social realism actually referred to? And a lot of them said no. Around 9 out of 3/4 of them said they didn't really understand it to the full extent, or only a quarter said they really understand it. So I addressed this by making sure I added in elements from different genres. So I used like violence and action from the action and adventure genre, a genre which is more mainstream than social realism, so they wouldn't feel alienated by me putting them into a totally new genre. And I also asked this question this kind of relates to another question I asked them during my quantitative survey, which was, how often do you watch a social realism film in a week? Like, how many times do you watch a social realism film during a week? And 9/10 they on average watch no social realism films every week. So this was a back thing up that they're not used to that genre as much, so I had to make sure that I use elements from other genres to make sure they don't feel alienated, but still keep using the same genre, still use coastal conventions from a social realism, to still keep it social realism, but use other elements so they don't feel completely alienated by this new genre. And what else? I also, in my qualitative research, asked what was their favourite opening of a film they've ever seen, and why was this made interesting. And a few people said action. So an action and the build-up of tension, drama, suspense. They found that quite interesting in the intro and made them carry on watching. So I made sure, I wanted the intro, I used cross-cutting in my intro between the mother and the son. So as I wanted to build up the suspense about what their relationship's like who are these two people, how they're related. I wanted to help build up that tension, that suspense of knowing the audience not knowing who they are until the intro's gone. So it tries to keep them interested in the story by using the build of suspense. And the last question in my questionnaire was, what would make them carry on watching an intro? And a couple of answers I got back from a couple of the people said they wanted the intro to be quite relatable. They didn't want us to feel that these people are made up characters and made up location and they're not real. They wanted to feel like they can relate, like, oh yeah, I can relate to that person, I can relate to this circumstance. So I made sure to use untrained actors, I used realistic settings, natural lighting to help keep this sense of realism, so that the audience are more able to relate to these characters and the opening, and hopefully be more encouraged and inclined to watch the rest of the film. And lastly, I asked them on my survey if they knew a movie had unknown actors, unknown director, who they've seen it produced, they've never seen before, would they carry on watching? And a lot of them said they would, so that was really good. So I knew that I can show my film to a lot of people and have the confidence knowing that even though they don't know who I am, they don't know the actors I use, this would be quite confident in carrying on watching the film.